You think you know ancient Egypt, right? Pyramids, pharaohs, maybe some stuff you saw in the mummy movies. But what if I told you the real stories? The ones carved into stone and whispered by the dead are way, way wilder. Let's travel back, way back, over 3,000 years. Picture this, a grand temple, priests in white linen robes, the air thick with incense. They're preparing a body. But this isn't just any funeral. This is the beginning of a 70-day journey to the afterlife. This is mummification. First, the brain. You might think it's important, right? The Egyptians, not so much. They believed the heart was the center of intelligence and emotion. So, they'd take a long, hooked bronze rod, shove it up the nostril, and scramble the brain. Yeah. They'd then pull the liquefied brain out through the nose. Gross, but super effective. Next, a slit in the abdomen. They'd carefully remove the lungs, stomach, liver, and intestines. These were vital for the afterlife, so they were washed, dried in a special salt called natron, and placed in their own little jars, the canopic jars. Each jar was protected by a different god. The one thing they left inside? The heart. They believed it would be weighed against the feather of truth in the afterlife. If your heart was heavy with bad deeds, a monster would devour it, and your soul would cease to exist. No pressure, right? Then, the body was buried in a mountain of natron salt for about 40 days. This completely dehydrated it, preserving the skin and flesh. After the drying, the body was a shrunken, leathery version of its former self. It was then cleaned, anointed with oils, and stuffed with linen or sawdust to give it a more lifelike shape. And now, the final, most iconic part, the wrapping. Hundreds, and I mean asterisk, hundreds asterisk, of yards of linen bandages were used. It was an art form. Priests would wrap each finger and toe individually before moving to the limbs and torso. Between the layers, they'd place magical amulets and a Book of the Dead scroll, which was basically a cheat sheet for navigating the dangerous underworld. The most important amulet was the scarab beetle, placed right over the heart to protect it during that final judgment. So when you see a mummy in a museum, don't just see a wrapped-up corpse. See a person who believed, with every fiber of their being, in a second chance. They believed this elaborate, gruesome, and sacred process was their ticket to eternal life, to sailing across a sky of stars with the gods. The real story isn't about a curse or a monster. It's a story of hope, of a civilization so obsessed with life, they spent their entire existence preparing for death. Now that's a story worth telling.